Sure. What we call conventional agriculture now generally refers to a chemically based agriculture as far as synthetic fertilizers, large monocropping, meaning hundreds or thousands of acres are planted to the same crop as we do in our Midwest with the cornfields and wheat. Um, and generally, it's a type of agriculture that eventually leads to a stripping of nutrients and structure in our soil, and which leads to things like what people can think of, the images you've seen from the Dust Bowl in the Depression era. That was a result of a type of agriculture that strips away what's in the soil, what holds the soil together. So it's not a sustainable practice. And that's why the notion of sustainability in organic agriculture has had such a resurgence, as because really organic agriculture is how agriculture has always been done historically until very recently, in this last century. And even in the last, probably since World War II is when it really changed. Starting to change a little bit before that into conventional agriculture. So organic agriculture is the idea that you have a holistic system where the soil is nurtured and the additions to the soil are healthy manures and plant matter and natural fertilizers to build a healthy soil that can be sustained for many generations, not only sustained, but actually made better. So whereas in conventional agriculture, you're often battling time, generation to generation. It gets worse, it gets worse, it gets worse. And you're dumping more fertilizers and more water to try to create a medium that will grow plants. Whereas in organic agriculture, the more you do it, the better it gets. So generations of organic agriculture leave you with something better than what you started with. So there's the idea of one is very reductive and one really adds to what you have. So you're building towards the future, you're building your soil towards the future. And organic, there's all kinds of things that people think of with organic agriculture. There's certified organic agriculture where you have to go through a whole process of certification and record keeping. And it's really a check and balances system to make sure that what you're doing is approved to reach that goal of making your soil better. But that's one thing. There are many people doing all kinds of other sustainable practices that are also really just as good. They're just not going through the regulatory process. So this is a really huge movement that's been growing. What you could find that was organic on the grocery store shelves 30 years ago compared to what you can find now is very different. And so farmers are realizing, especially small farmers, are realizing that this is the ticket to the future. This is how they can keep their farm. This is how they can pass it on to their children. It's a costly way to farm, especially at first. And so it's it can be daunting, especially for large farmers, to make that change. But many are making that change because they're finding that that people want that. The more people learn, the more they want it. So organic it's a type of agriculture. It's a lifestyle. It's a health choice by consumers. It really kind of encompasses, that word encompasses a lot. Even with organic farming, even your labor practices are different. There's an expectation that the people that you rely upon to actually help you with the farming, harvest your crops, there's a different ethic. There's a very high standard there. That's part of it. And it's not necessarily regulated, but it's definitely a cultural part of the organic farming community. But yeah, so if you think about it, organic soil and organic farming is really about promoting the health of all of the living systems on your farm, including our own, the human system. So
I love what you're saying there. There's